Oh, what a beautiful morning. But let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Now that may sound familiar to you. Well, that's no surprise. And how about Do-Re-Mi, Some Enchanted Evening? Bali high, people will say we're in love. Hello, young lovers, something wonderful. It might as well be spring, younger than springtime. If I loved you, and O-K-L-A-H-O-M-A. Yes, just a few of the unforgettable songs created by the team of Rodgers and Hammerstein. And how appropriate that we pay tribute to this incredible musical duo, especially on this date. For it was on September 1st, 1960, that then New York City Mayor Robert Wagner requested that the lights on Broadway be dimmed at 9 p.m. in memory of Oscar Hammerstein II. Now, I have some wonderful pictures here to show you, and there you go. There is that wonderful team right there. But, as I said, let's start at the very beginning. Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II were perhaps among the most innovative and successful American musical theater writing teams. They created a string of popular Broadway musicals in the 1940s and 50s, giving musical birth to what is considered the golden age of musical theater. With Rodgers composing the music and Hammerstein writing the lyrics, 5 of their Broadway shows, Oklahoma, Carousel, South Pacific, The King and I, and The Sound of Music were outstanding successes, as was the television broadcast of Cinderella. Their shows and the film versions have been awarded over the years, receiving a total of 34 Tony Awards, 15 Academy Awards, the Pulitzer Prize, and 2 Grammy Awards. Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II had known each other since they worked on varsity shows at Columbia University. Since then, both had deferred to songwriting collaborators who preferred to have the music written before the lyric, an understandable practice when trying to write hit songs. Now, the new collaborators set out to prove that a lyrics-first approach would make it easier to integrate songs into a libretto. British giants Gilbert and Sullivan had done this long before, but in the 1940s it was considered a daring idea for Broadway songwriters. Independently of each other, Rodgers and Hammerstein had been attracted to making a musical based on Lynn Riggs's stage play Green Grow the Lilacs, which had failed on Broadway in 1931. When Jerome Kern declined Hammerstein's offer to work on the project, and Larry Hart refused Rodgers' offer to do the same, well, Rodgers and Hammerstein began their first musical collaboration. Now, the plot involved an Oklahoma Territory farm girl of the early 1900s named Lori, deciding whether she will go to a dance with the farmhand she fears. His name Jeter in the play and Judd in the musical. Or should she perhaps attend this dance with the cowboy she truly loves, Curly? This story takes a jarring turn when the farmhand proves to be a psychopathic murderer who the heroic cowboy is forced to kill in self-defense. Now, perhaps you might say, murder in a musical? Well, another sticking point was that Hollywood had turned singing cowboys into a cliché. Could this story sing on Broadway? The new collaborators began with a painstaking assessment of what made the characters tick, where songs would fit and what the style and content of each number would be. They also visualized possibilities for casting, set design, lighting, and staging. Once they had agreed on these points, each headed home. Rodgers to his farm in upstate New York, Hammerstein to his farm in Pennsylvania. Oscar fashioned the book and lyrics with great care, laboring for weeks over certain phrases and rhymes. He then either telegraphed or phoned in the results to Rodgers, who had been mulling over melodic options and would sometimes have a completed tune on paper in a matter of minutes. Now, Oklahoma was originally called Away We Go and opened in New Haven in March 1943. Only a few changes were made before it opened on Broadway, but 3 would prove very significant. The addition of a show-stopping number entitled Oklahoma, the deletion of the musical number Boys and Girls Like You and Me, which was replaced with a reprise of People Will Say We're in Love, and, of course, the ultimate decision to retitle the musical after the song Oklahoma. Well, the result, Oklahoma, exclamation point, was a show that marked a revolution in musical drama. Although not the first musical to tell a story of emotional depth and psychological complexity, Oklahoma introduced a number of new storytelling elements and techniques. These included its use of song and dance to convey the plot and character, rather than act as a diversion from the story, and the firm integration of every single song into the plotline. Now, the original production opened on March 31st, 1943. The original cast included Alfred Drake as Curly, Long Island's own Joan Roberts as Laurie, Celeste Holm as Edu Annie, Howard Da Silva as Judd Fry, Betty Gard as Aunt Heller, Lee Dixon as Will Parker, and Joseph Buloff as Ali Hakim. The production ran for an unprecedented 2,212 performances, closing on May 29, 1948. Many of the songs, of course, have become enduring musical standards, such as Oh, What a Beautiful Morning, which we could probably say today is, The Surrey with the Fringe on Top, I Can't Say No, People Will Say We're in Love, and Oklahoma. Now, the image you're looking at now is the original production from the playbill for Oklahoma from the St. James Theater. And here it is live. Here's the actual program autographed to your